Hello folks, Bill Wilson here with my old buddy Ken Hackathorn, and welcome to the Wilson Combat YouTube channel. And today is going to be kind of a fun discussion. Ken and I may be old farts. You know, I'm almost 69 now. Ken, what are you, 75-ish?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, even though we're kind of old fart gun guys, we still love to shoot. I mean, both of us shoot, I mean, every week, multiple times a week, you know, if weather permits. And so what we're going to discuss today is when we just go shoot for fun, what do we shoot? Ken, you lead off.
Well, again, I tell people one of the things that seems to happen is you get older, you try to relive your youth. You look at guys of our age group, we're somewhat enamored with muscle cars because when we were young, we wanted them, but you know, couldn't afford them. So now you later in life think, oh, I want one of those. And I think to some degree, if you've been a gun guy most of your life, you kind of want to revert back to some of those guns you really were enchanted with when you were younger. And I'd have to say leading off that most of us first experience were with 22s.
Yeah.
I still enjoy shooting 22s. They're still fun. A lot of people want to put an emphasis on everything you should do should be on self-defense and combat shooting. Well, yeah, but let's make it fun once in a while. When I want to go out, for example, I still shoot 22 pistols a lot. I know the first handgun I ever bought was a Smith & Wesson K22. I was like maybe 13 years old. I worked all summer making enough money to buy that thing. And I still have it, and I've shot a blue million rounds through it. So 22s are still fun. Yeah. They're great for trading other people, new people in it. You know, and I remember many moons ago, Colonel Jeff Cooper saying that you can learn about 75% of everything you need to know about shooting a pistol using a 22. Yeah. Now there's 25% of the stuff like recoil control and all that stuff you can't, but the mechanics of shooting well, you can learn with a 22 pistol. I've got a K22 that I loved shooting. You know, I've got a Smith 41 as a target gun. It was nice for shooting bullseye. I don't shoot it much anymore. One of the guns I've become enamored with as far as they're incredibly reliable and accurate are the little Beretta Jaguars, the model 70s and 71s. Cool guns. I mean, just great little guns. And believe it or not, some years ago, one of my buddies sold me a Ruger Mark II, one of the like 6 3/4 inch like match guns. And he got it used and it was in pretty sad shape. Somebody stored it under their pickup seat, wrapped in a towel, and it got wet and it was pretty homely. Anyway, I had my buddy, my shooting buddy and my gunsmith buddy, Mike Borman, kind of refurb it. And I had him take the hook front side off and put me a bead sight on it, a gold bead, and U-notched the rear, and he refinished it, and it came with a great trigger pull. And I still love shooting that thing. I mean, going out in the range and shooting rocks, you know a little bit about shooting rocks and dirt and dirt clods, still enjoy that. I don't shoot 22 rifles that much, but 22 pistols I still shoot, and it's fun. I mean, it's the old deal. Shooting a rock the size of a 50-cent piece on my berm 30 yards away with that Ruger is like, yeah, I haven't lost too much. How about you? What was your first love in shooting?
Well, early on, as far as stuff that I shot a lot and retained, I had a Marlin 39, which I know you kind of got a soft spot for a Marlin 39 lever gun.
Still have it.
And man, you talk about how much you shot that K22. I mean, you know, those old guns have the Marlin micro groove rifling. I don't know, it's amazing that it didn't take that fine rifling out of it as much as I've shot that gun, that it still shoots well. Yeah. And so that's what I shot a lot. And then my first handgun was a member back in the old days. High Standard made a revolver called the Sentinel. Oh yeah. Aluminum frame. I think it was 9-shot Sentinel. That was my first ever handgun. Wow. Yeah, and it was a real wake up because, you know, I was a really good I'm not bragging, but I was a really good shot with that Marlin 39 at the time I got the handgun. Yeah. And I got the handgun, put you know, I don't know what size it is, but you know, the larger cans that, like, if you buy beans bulk or whatever, some vegetable bulk, you know, Walmart or Costco or whatever, for some reason had one of those cans, put it out there about 15 yards, and it was grim. I couldn't hit that sucker with that High Standard Sentinel for nothing, you know, and I could shoot empty 22 holes off the top of it with my Marlin 39, you know, so it was a steep learning curve for me to learn how to shoot a handgun.
But again, I think the 22 handgun, if you want to learn to shoot a pistol,
that's the way to do it.
That's a good way to start.
Yeah, now when I want to go shoot a 22, I'm a real big fan of the Browning Buckmark.
Yeah,
And primarily because it's got the same grip angle as a 1911. It's got the controls are all the same as a 1911, and that 4-inch version of a Browning Buckmark to me is the perfect training handgun for your typical 1911-ish platform gun.
And by the way, I've got one, and you're right. They're great guns for the money.
Yep.
Now, when we get past the 22s, and I want to go out and shoot for fun, I grew up in a revolver. You did too. So for me, shooting revolvers is for fun, and I love shooting. I shoot a lot of 38s. Don't shoot much 44 mags. I shoot some 44 special once in a while, and I still load and shoot 357, but not a lot. But 38 specials, man. I'm a K-frame Smith fanatic. I've got Ks, I've got Js, Ks, Ls, Ns, but Ks are what I grew up with, and that's what I'm fond of. And I love taking a revolver out, and and especially guns that were made in the 50s and 60s or 70s or so. I go out, and for an enjoyable afternoon, shooting a revolver for me is kind of fun.
Yes.
And I know you were a big Python fan.
Yeah, I'm a big Colt Python guy.
Yeah. Guys will see you shooting a revolver, and they'll immediately cast aspersions saying, well, you can't defend yourself with this. Well, American law enforcement did it for a long time. Yeah. You learn with the 6-shot revolver not to miss if you can help it. You learn to make your bullets work. But I like revolvers, and I'd say for a fun afternoon, I'm probably going to take a revolver or two, sometimes more. You shoot single actions revolvers very much, or are you into single actions?
Not single action, like we think of it as a Colt 45 single action. Like I shoot a lot of double action revolvers, single action.
What's your favorites if you're going to grab one to go to the range?
To go to the range? My two favorites are, as you mentioned, the Colt Python, and then I'm a pretty big fan of the Ruger GP100 platform. Especially the shorter barrel ones. I've got a couple of them that have got the 3-inch barrel, and I really like that little gun.
It's a tough gun too.
Yeah. And I put the small grips on it.
Yeah.
And so it'd be a great carry gun. Other than, for the size of the gun and the capacity, it's relatively heavy.
Yeah. And so if you have to shoot magnums, it's not that bad.
Yeah, it's not that bad at all.
I still shoot single action some. I guess that cowboy phase when the cowboy TV shows. I can remember growing up when we finally got a TV. Remember the black and white TVs with the rabbit ear antenna stuff? But I can remember shows like, for example, my favorite TV Western was Paladin.
Yeah.
With Richard.
Have gun will travel.
Have gun will travel. And bottom line is, so single actions always attracted me. I've got some Colt single actions I shoot pretty regular. I don't shoot them every time, but to me it's a fun experience shooting them. Then believe it or not, I've always been somewhat interested in military pistols, because I grew up, I grew up in the era, I'm one of the first of the baby boomers, so all the World War II vets back then all came home with, souvenir pistols, so that market was flooded with, everybody had one. Everybody's dad had something that seemed like Lugers and P38s and Browning high powers and guns of the era. I still find somewhat fun to shoot. I don't shoot them a lot. Believe it or not, everybody's got taste in guns that, I'm sure you've had people show you guns and go, what in the world would you own one of those for? But they like them. I've got kind of a weakness among all the stuff, but I like the Tokarev pistols, the TT-33s. And I've got, Chinese and Romanian and the Yugoslavian ones. The M57s are the best of the breed. But believe it or not, I got a pile of ammo, GIM, or they're, surplus ammo. It's Russian or maybe it's Bulgarian, I don't know, but I shoot the shit out of that. It's corrosive, so you got to clean the bore, but it's fun.
Yeah.
I like shooting it.
Yeah.
You got anything like that is kind of off the wall that you?
Oh, off the wall, no. When I go shoot for fun, it's typically, some form of 1911-ish gun. It's revolver that I enjoy shooting, or it's some sort of AR platform gun, or if I'm wanting to go over to the long range, I've got, as I've got a 1,200-yard range on the ranch. I'll take a bolt gun over there sometimes and play the long range games and stuff like that.
I think you and I share this. I've always been kind of a fan of the M1 carbine.
Oh yeah.
And every once in a while, if I just want to have fun, I'll grab a carbine and load up 3 or 4 magazines. And it's not, by AR standard, just not nearly the weapon. But I always tell people, remember, it was designed to replace a pistol, not a rifle.
Oh yeah.
But I find they're fun to shoot. And by the way, when you let people shoot an M1 carbine that's never fired one,
They all turn around and smile, don't they?
All turn around and say, "This is cool."
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
Absolutely. I mean, everybody ought to own it, at least one,
Yeah,
and one
right.
carbine.
Yeah. And believe it or not, in rifles, I've got a lot of different, rifles, but I got somewhat, I don't know why, I like Mosin Nagants, the Russian Mosin Nagants, and I've got a variety of them, and a lot of the Finnish ones, the ones that the Finns used, were much better guns. And by anybody's standards, maybe not very sophisticated, but actually they're pretty cool guns. And everybody sees them and goes like, "What are you doing?" For whatever reason, I like those, and I've got a pile of them. I don't shoot them much anymore, but when I do, it's fun. So, I think we all want to find things. If going to the range and saying this is a task I have to do, it's kind of like going to school. And every once in a while, I'd much rather go into recess.
Yeah.
And for me, that's finding guns that are fun to shoot. And I think it's important, if you're a gun guy and you're part of the gun culture, to identify the things that are, shall we say, tools and the things that are toys. I think a lot of people in America, with this whole craze of self-defense and stuff, forgot about shooting for fun.
Yeah, but there's another angle to this too, Ken. If you shoot a lot of different type of firearms platforms, and we're looking at it from the self-defense angle, what happens if you're in a situation where you have to defend yourself with the gun that's available? Somebody's been shot, there's a gun on the ground, you're in a situation where there's a gun available to you. The more familiar you are with all the different platforms, the less intimidated you will be and the more proficient you will be with that gun.
Yeah.
It's like, I know you have a group out at your place in Idaho where on Saturday or Sundays, sometimes you guys get together and do little informal fun shoots and stuff like that, just like I do at the ranch in Texas. A lot of times we do pickup gun days.
Yeah.
We got the blue barrels out there in front,
Different guns.
And we'll put, say a Snubby 38 on this one, say a Beretta 92 on this one, but I always like to really trick the guys, and I put a D gun out there, double action only, and then we'll put a striker fired plastic gun out there, and we'll have a 1911, we'll have a single action where you get to cock it every time, and then we'll maybe do a real small lightweight polymer like a car CM9 or whatever, something like that. A whole variety of different trigger types and platforms, and semi-auto and revolver and single action, double action, and all that kind of stuff.
And it's fun to watch you guys pick it up and look at it like, what do I do?
Oh yeah. We've got the people in the group there that are serious shooters. They just have a blast with it, just like I do. And then you got the ones that aren't really serious shooters. They know one gun platform. And it's fun, like you said, to watch them kind of struggle through all this, And
it's interesting. I've guys observed a couple times that, Hackathorn, you'd be a lot better shooter if you stuck to one gun. And that's probably true, but I'm a gun guy.
Yeah.
I like shooting other guns. Plus, there was a period of time in my training career where I was traveling, say, overseas. You don't get to take your guns when you go out of CONUS. And so when you show up, whoever you're training or you're going to be working with, whatever, they're going to provide you with a gun. And sometimes it's the gun their issue pistol. But in many cases, it's a gun that you're not typically acquainted with. Or I've been other places where you show up and it's not anything you would normally ask for. So you got to learn, because they expect you to be able to perform and show them what to do. I'm a firm believer, never ask a student to perform a shooting drill that you don't demonstrate and aren't competent in doing. So I had to learn. My life style required me to learn to use a number of different weapon platforms. Some I do really well with. Some surprise me.
Yeah, like a Browning.
Yeah, some are really
or a
easy.
Beretta 92. You're extremely good with a Beretta 92.
Yeah, and again, being an old revolver guys, we pick up double action autos and we're not intimidated by it. I see other people, it's just hideous. We live in a land now of, in essence, striker fired handguns.
Yep.
And I see lots of people that can pick up a striker fired gun and that's all they know. And we're going to see that even more now that the new U.S. service pistol is the Sig Sauer M17 and the M18. At least with the Beretta, they had to learn 2 trigger pulls, which in many ways, based upon the crappy level of governmental U.S. military training, I think everybody suffered some because they never got adequate training. Unless you were in special operations, you probably never got enough trigger time to learn how to do it. So I think the striker fired guns in many ways in the U.S. military services will be an improvement, because they only got to learn 1 trigger.
Well, one last thing. Okay, we talked about guns we love to shoot for fun and everything like that. Tell me give me 2 examples of guns that you don't care much about shooting.
Well, I was forced, like everybody, if you're in the training business, to learn to use the Glock. And I can shoot a Glock pretty well. I got a bunch of them. But I've never really kind of warmed to that staple gun trigger. I mean, can I shoot it? Yeah. But somebody told me the other day, well, it's a great trigger. And I was like, are you on crack? If it was such a great trigger, why would everybody in the world be making aftermarket triggers and trying to improve the triggers on Glock pistols? Now, the new Gen 5s are better Glocks than they've ever made. But I'm a fan of the Glocks. I regard it as a tool. Got a bunch of them. Probably wouldn't be my number one pick as far as saying I enjoy shooting it. The guns with a real heavy, like no matter what it is, it's got what we'll call like a gun with a real heavy striker trigger, one that's supposed to be real safe, you know. And an example would be like, say, a New York trigger on a Glock. Or I remember I bought a Smith M&P that was set up for some law enforcement program, and it must have had a 10-pound striker spring in it. I don't want to do it. It was hideous.
Yeah.
So I think as a shooter, we all make, we make tolerances. I can accept these sights. I can accept this level of accuracy, or I can accept this trigger. But the one I have the hardest time, I'll take a gun with not very good sights and maybe not the most accurate pistol, but if it's got a good trigger, that's the one I'll generally pick. Yeah. So as time has passed, and I think you're the same way, we become probably a little bit more trigger fanatics than we are. I think accuracy is overstated in most pistols. I mean, most people say, well, I want a gun that shoots 1 inch at 25. I can't shoot 1 inch at 25, so I'm not going to worry about that. But that trigger will make a big difference. How about you? What's the ones that you struggle with?
Well, I'm not going to talk about specific guns, but categories. Number one, anything black powder.
Yeah,
I hate to clean guns.
Yeah, I'm with you.
And I like to shoot multiple shots. So black powder's definitely out of the picture. I don't own one.
I don't own a
single.
I take that back. I do, but I never shoot it.
I don't own a single black powder gun.
Yeah.
And number two is shotguns. I mean, even tactical shotgun. I virtually never shoot a shotgun. I mean, I just don't have an interest in it.
Once a year, I tell guys, okay, instead of bringing your pistol, bring your carbine, and bring a shotgun, and 25 rounds of birdshot or whatever it is. And I'm like you. There are people that are really ate up with shotguns. I'm not one of them. As a tool, in my mudroom door, behind a door in a rack, I've got a Mossberg 590 loaded with buckshot. You can pick up and rack if I need it. Right beside it's a car 15. And I'm willing to bet that 9 out of 10 times I'll pick up the car if I need to go out the door to greet somebody versus the shotgun. So we are liking that.
Yeah. All right, Ken. Enjoyed it. Nice conversation.
Cool. Hope you guys got something out of it. Remember, don't be afraid to push on the subscribe button, and there's more good info on the Wilson Combat YouTube channel coming your way. Stay safe. We'll see you the next time.